Welcome to Profit Boss Radio, where successful women have paved the road to their own financial freedom. Each week, your host, Hillary Hendershot, financial coach, money mindset expert, and experienced wealth manager, will help you discover the keys to the wealth and peace of mind you want and deserve in her no-nonsense and authentic style. Starting right now.
Well, hello there, Profit Boss. This is your host, Hillary Hendershot, coming to you from Profit Boss Studios with episode 74 of Profit Boss Radio, where we have a women's wealth mastermind once a week, launched in your podcast app on Tuesday mornings. Today, I have another Ask Hillary episode for you. The questions from the Profit Boss Facebook group have been coming at me with lightning speed. And then I actually have a really exciting, amazing announcement to make. So let's get started with the question first. This is from Michelle, and it's on the topic of being a business owner and getting a mortgage. It says, Hillary, I have a question for you. My husband and I are 1099 income earners in network marketing. We also have a brick and mortar business in our hometown. We do our best to make sure any expenses we have are write-off so that we can lower our taxable income yearly. We also purposely take a loss on our brick and mortar business to offset our 1099 income. We'd like to purchase our first home, but we're stuck between a rock and a hard place with our income situation. Do you have any advice for 1099 wage earners that want to qualify for lending? We feel that in order to get approved, we need to report more income, which means we will get killed in taxes, and therefore we will have less to use as a down payment. Sad face. Michelle, you know how you said you feel that you need to report more income to get qualified for a loan? That is not just a feeling, that is a fact. So that's the deal. If you want to get qualified for a mortgage, you have to show your income as personal income on a W-2, which means you have to pay it. Well, okay, technically you don't have to pay it on a W-2. You don't have to actually be on payroll, but you do have to take it out of your business accounts and put it into your personal accounts, which means it shows up on a 1099 and it gets taxed as ordinary income by the federal government and your state, assuming you don't live in one of the 5 states in the United States that doesn't have personal income. And if you live out of the United States, I'm sorry, I have absolutely no idea what your situation is. So it is super tempting to book lower income than you actually make by taking lots of business losses. This is pretty much the perfect example of this thing economists call the Laffer curve, which was kind of made famous by Ronald Reagan when he was running for president, and he came out with this term he called Reaganomics. I don't know if you remember that, or maybe some of you youngins read about it in the history books. I don't know, but it basically describes the phenomenon that says that as you tax income, people's willingness to earn income declines. For every % you increase the income tax, someone out there is going to say, forget it. If I have to earn $1 to enjoy only 60 cents, I'm out. Forget you. I'm going home. I'm playing in a different sandbox. And it's really a big problem for the economy. And I totally understand. It's a perfectly valid place to be about your own hard work and sweat equity. And as a business owner, you have the ability to earn business income that comes into your business accounts, spend it on business expenses that really do benefit you personally because your person is the business. So that's legit. But then you don't have to pay yourself so much and pay income tax on it. It can just be a business expense and it's tax-free. That's a huge part of the benefit of entrepreneurship. The decision, I think, comes down to valuing your time, but also I think sometimes an unconscious desire to avoid taxes at all costs. I have seen people do insane things to avoid paying taxes. Literally, they could have worked half as hard, earned twice as much income, paid more taxes, but had more money and a higher quality of life to show for it. And I think people, when you go down the rabbit hole of tax avoidance strategies, I think people sometimes forget the big picture. I call that letting the tax tail wag the dog. Unfortunately, many tax planners give advice from this perspective. They'll tell people to do things that minimize their taxes, but actually take people further away from their goals. That's one of the things I do for people is I make sure all of their financial actions center around achieving their own family goals and values. So it sounds like maybe there's a little bit of this going on for you, Michelle. Maybe like the idea of running a brick and mortar business for the purpose of taking a loss sounds a little crazy if you don't consider the tax aspect. I don't know your personal household income or savings amount, but it's clear that this tax strategy is keeping you from achieving at least one of your family goals, which is to qualify for a mortgage and buy a house. So taking more business income from your business means the possibility of getting a bigger mortgage, although you need 2 years of average income to qualify for a full doc mortgage like that. So if you start taking more income out of your business, you're going to have to do that for 2 years, show it on the tax returns, and then you don't get to go qualify for a mortgage until you have that second tax return. So it can be up to like 2.5 years because you sometimes don't get your tax return until April or even October of the following year. My husband and I just went through that, and it was almost a big problem. Higher personal income means higher taxes. Higher personal income means a higher ability to save. You can save more money. Higher personal income means more personal income and more ability to enjoy life's experiences or adventures. And higher personal income means a higher business valuation. You can sell your business for far more money when you're paying yourself a market wage and earning high profit. And a lot of business owners don't realize that that liquidation date of your own business can be your biggest payday as a business owner. I mean, ultimately, and this is like a sidebar, a whole different topic, but you should really always be running your business as if you're going to sell it, even if you're not, because that strategy and plan and perspective leads to the most profitable businesses. I mean, business is about profit. It's not about tax avoidance. I think the worst impact, Michelle, of your current strategy is that you're limiting how much money you can save, because if you aren't taking the income out of your business bank accounts, you can't save it in your own retirement accounts. You can't save it in a brokerage account. You can't save it. It just stays in your business accounts. And I personally know a multimillionaire business owner. He's an internet marketer, and he refuses to take money out of his business bank accounts. He has it all in CDs. So he's not earning the compound returns available in the stock market, which is costing him hundreds of thousands of dollars because he doesn't want to pay the personal income tax. So it's a little crazy. I think this comes down to a money operating system issue. There's some scarcity of thinking going on here. Like, we don't have enough money to pay the taxes, or as like these businesses, we can't, like, why can't you just earn more money? Like, earn a lot more money in the business, pay more tax, but you'll end up with more money overall. When I say money operating system, those are the scripts that we all live by when it comes to money. If you're new to the show, go check out episode 8. Like, you think you don't have enough money to pay the taxes, or you don't want to pay a higher portion of this already scarce income in taxes. I mean, that's why I'm constantly focused on growth in my own business, because I know my big payday comes when I sell the business many years down the line, of course, but my hard efforts are contributing to a savings account of sorts that becomes a huge piggy bank when I either sell the business to my employees or sell it to an outside owner in my 60s when I want to retire. So this is how my husband and I do it. We each have corporate business credit cards, and we have a household personal credit card. So all personal expenses go on the rewards card that is for our personal lives, personal accounts. And then we pay it off using money from the personal checking account. So we get like a 3 to 5% bonus on everything that we buy. And that's really nice. We're often able to travel. Like, obviously all of my business travel is done as a business expense, so I don't pay income tax on that money, but each of us has a business card attached to our businesses. Business expenses go on that credit card. We get the 3 to 5% credit or rebate or bonus, and then we pay it off using money from our business bank accounts. I'm on payroll with my business, so I get a salary. Through that payroll provider, I contribute to a solo 401k. I contribute $18,000 a year to that solo 401k. By the way, I'm hiring an employee, so I actually no longer qualify for a solo 401k, because until now, all my employees have been contract employees, and now they won't be. So I won't be able to do that anymore, but that's how I have been doing it. So now I probably will have to open an actual 401k, which is kind of cool. It'd be great to be someone who creates jobs and offers a 401k savings opportunity to other people. And my husband is on payroll with his company, and we both also take bonuses or profit draws from profit draws rhymes with profit boss, doesn't it? That was funny. Profit draws from our businesses, mostly at the end of the year. If I was a better planner or a little less conservative, I might take the money out earlier than that, but I kind of want to make sure that I'm not going to run out. So I wait, I let it pool. So Michelle, I hope that helps. Okay, Profit Boss, I have a huge announcement. So as you know, and I didn't even script this because I just wanted to really get real with you. You know, a month ago, I took 2 episodes off and I said to you, I have lots in the works. I'm hard at work putting together some really exciting things for you. And I am. And, over these last couple weeks, I have been really thinking about you. I thank you to the people who filled out the survey. Really, your feedback was so valuable. And what I learned is that the Profit Boss audience is extremely loyal. We have one of the most popular financial podcasts on the air. You have been consistent over time, and I thank you for that. And my business is shifting. And to be honest with you, it's growing is what I mean. I'm hiring someone. She will be an associate advisor. So I'm creating a scaled tiered service offering. So some people will get to work with Jennifer. Some people will get to work with me. And, I need to train her and bring her in. That's very expensive relative. So when I say very expensive, I mean relative to what I've spent before. And so it's a big investment for me and I want to take it seriously. And what I've discovered also is that in my business, I really have 2 types of customers with 2 different sets of concerns. And one of those types of customers is a more mature woman who might be more likely to have $500,000 or $1 million saved. And then the one who's actually more likely to be listening to this show is someone who's more starting out financially. And I don't mean to say that determines your age, but for example, mostly late 20s, but the average of this called an avatar, customer avatar, is smack dab in the middle of her 30s, kind of starting out financially, trying to figure it out. Definitely not in a place where, having $500,000 or $1 million in an investment account has even been possible given where you've been and what you've been doing and like that. And so it was a realization or an aha moment to realize that there really are 2 kinds of people, 2 groups of people. We call them avatars in, business marketing. I don't want to make you think of video games, but if you think of an avatar as a character that can be described by a set of demographic features and, income and where she lives and like that, I have 2 avatars. And I have been kind of trying to speak to both, but really there's just one of you mostly listening to the show. And so I have decided to kind of do a rebrand, a pivot, to make the show, to give it some more production quality. So more music, more fun, more pizzazz, to make the marketing and messaging and the aesthetic, like the branding, the look and feel of things be more exciting, more colorful, more dynamic. So all this is happening at the same time. I've also been talking in the Facebook group about how I've been working really hard to create new offerings. So many of you have asked about some of the digital investment platforms that are out there. I am creating a hybrid digital platform. So until now, most financial advisors who have set out to work with people who don't whose accounts aren't going to be as profitable, what they've done in order to afford that is they've cut the offering. I offer, 15 services to my high net worth clients. I'm going to offer only 7 to my not yet high net worth clients. And I just don't want to do that. And so I have this vision in my mind of a way that I can offer really high touch services to people who are just starting out with account sizes as small as, say, $25,000. And my new associate advisor, I'm going to say her name on the podcast and, hope that nothing happens in the first 60 or 90 days because I'm kind of committing to her by saying her name on the podcast today, but her name's Jennifer. She's tasked with building out that offering in the very beginning of her employment with me. And, I just feel like I'm molting everything. I moved my house, I moved my business, I'm hiring someone, I'm changing the offering, I'm rebranding the podcast. And as many of you know, I've talked about, I'm going to be offering both a high-end wealth coaching program that's going to be led in person that will be launching in the fall, and then a live event probably in January of next year. So lots on deck. And I'm a mother of a 1-year-old. Now it's starting to sound like I'm, Cry Me a River or fiddling a violin for myself, but I'm not. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. And so I have decided, rather than make the podcast a second tier consideration over the next several weeks, I'm going to take a break. So I am calling an end to season 1 of Profit Boss Radio. You have not had much warning about this. I didn't know that I was going to do this even as late as yesterday. I was on the line I have this incredible podcast mastermind of these amazing ladies who run podcasts. You might want to go check out some of their shows if you are looking for something. In the meantime, do not unsubscribe from Profit Boss Radio. I will be back. But if you want to go listen to Wild and Holy Radio with Megan Hale, or the Strategy Hour podcast with Emily and Abigail, or Courage and Clarity with Steph Crowder, I would highly recommend all 3 of those shows. And those ladies are in my podcast mastermind with me. And, we were talking about the podcast, obviously our shows yesterday. And I just said, I have podcaster's block. I am distracted and I'm excited about what's happening in the future, but I'm at the point where I feel like I'm moving into the future. And yet what I'm podcasting about is still the present. So it's become this conflict for me. And so I'm just going to call it. Well, they were insistent. To me, taking a break was anathema. If there's one thing I do, I come through. But they said, you're going to be better for it. You need to regroup. You need to recharge. And if you're going to redesign the podcast, you need to not be doing the podcast while you're redesigning, because you can't be in the weeds and also in the driver's seat. And that's a little bit of mixed metaphor, but hey, what the hey? If I can't mix a metaphor after all this time, what have I earned, right? So, gosh, I want you to know I'm coming back, and I think it'll be 4 weeks, but I reserve the right to have it be a little bit longer. And so it turns out season 1 of Profit Boss Radio was 74 episodes, wrapping it up at 74 episodes. And we will be coming back with much fanfare. Keep me subscribed in your podcast app. You can do that. If you don't know how to subscribe to a podcast, you can come to my website at hilaryhendershot.com or go to profitbossradio.com. We have instructions on how to subscribe to the podcast. You have to do that in your podcast app on your mobile device, and that will make sure that my next episode pops up for you when we launch it. It will be on a Tuesday morning in about 4 weeks. I want you to know that I think about you all the time. I am super excited to talk with you in the Facebook group while I'm out. You can find that at hilaryhendershot.com/Profit Boss. Once again, that's hilaryhendershot.com/Profit Boss. If you've been thinking you might want to talk to me about being your financial advisor, give me a call. My toll-free number is 877-569-5508. You can leave a message with my team there and we will call you right back and get an appointment scheduled. You can also email info@hilaryhendershot.com, and know that I love you. I want nothing more than your good fortune and prosperity, and I will be back with you soon. So thanks for being loyal, and I will see you on the flip side.
Thank you for listening to Profit Boss Radio, where creating success on our own terms happens every day. You're not alone in your journey to a rich life, and that's why Hillary is here to add value in each and every episode. See you next time on the podcast for women and money.